going on, America? I wanted to make this video to let you know there's a $2 trillion spending or stimulus package that's being passed right now. And a lot of people want to know what's going on, how much money are they going to get, what are the politicians saying? And I want to make sure, please fact check me, look at both sides, look at all sources, check things I didn't say, check things I did say, because not only is this stuff always changing, but what they say they're going to do and what they actually do and how long it takes is two different things. But hopefully this video helps you understand what's really going on with the $2 trillion spending package. And shout out to Senator Ted Cruz, who did this with the last stimulus with pieces of paper, with certain things that gave me the inspiration to do it. How much money are people getting, or how much are they saying you're gonna get? 1,200 direct payments for each person, and 2,400 for each married couple, and 500 for every child under 17. That's up there. They're saying if you make $75,000 a year or more, they're going to phase you out at a certain point, aka I think that means you're going to get less money. And if you make over $99,000, you're not going to get any money at all from that package, and that doubles for couples. So if you're a couple, multiply these numbers by 2, and you'll find out if you're eligible or not. A lot of people want to know how long that's going to take. From what I've heard, I've listened to Mnuchin, who works in the financial department. He's the head of that for our government. 3 weeks is what he's expecting. So direct payments means wait for 3 weeks, and also look at the stipulations, because they say that each person is getting 1,200, but like I said, there are some stipulations, and I'm sure there's more that I haven't even covered myself. How many is going to businesses and such? They're claiming that there's a $500 billion lending program. And first, what's not going to your business? Let's get that out of the way. $25 billion is for passenger air carriers, aka airplanes. $4 billion is for cargo air carriers, which is airplanes, I drew that airplane. Sorry I have bad, I'm really bad with my font. I'm a lefty, and I always kind of mess it up. My mom told me that doctors usually have sloppy handwriting. Unfortunately, I did not become a doctor, but thank you to those who did. So that's where that's going to the air carriers, and $17 billion is for businesses that work in national security. So that leaves about $474 billion for businesses, states, and municipalities. So where does that leave your small business? Where does that leave your business? I can't really tell at this moment. What they say they're going to do and what they actually do might be two different things. But if you have a small business, I would look into trying to get a piece of this $454 billion situation. And I also want to let you guys know that if you've been listening to the task force press conferences, they said that they have some sort of loan that if you keep all of your employees and take the loan, that they'll actually completely forgive that loan. Will they actually do it? I don't know. But if you're in a struggling situation with your business right now, I would look into it as soon as possible. Can you be eligible for that loan that Mnuchin and Trump are talking about, where you get the money, you keep all your employees, and you don't have to pay it back? That would be best case scenario. And I also want to say before I move on, there's special provisions for loans to mid-sized businesses between 500 and 10,000 employees and nonprofit organizations, where no payments are due for the first 6 months of the loan. So that's what they're saying on a lot of the websites right now. Not super impressed with that. Yeah, that's great that you won't have to pay back the loan, but I think it's very unfair that a lot of businesses were completely crushed by the government, a mandate that they couldn't open, and then they're trying to say, oh, well, we'll give you 6 months to pay it back. I don't think people should have to pay that back, but I'm no politician and I'm no financial expert, so don't listen to that. How much is going to hospitals? According to estimates right now, about $117 billion is going to hospitals. That number might change. Like I said, it's an estimate that I read somewhere. But that's good. I think hospitals need some money. If you're an independent contractor or a gig worker, aka Uber, Lyft, and you probably qualify in thousands of other jobs, they say that you're eligible for federal aid. How much federal aid? Who's allowed? Like I said, I don't know. I'm not sure that that's clear. There's hundreds of pages of this bill, and what they say they're going to do and what they do are two different things. But if you're an independent contractor or a gig worker, I would look into getting some federal aid if you're losing money right now because of your jobs. One good thing that's in there but could be tricky for landlords is protections against foreclosures and evictions. So they're trying to stop people from getting kicked out of their apartment or house. What they're saying is anyone facing financial hardship from coronavirus are given forbearance on a federal-backed mortgage loan for up to 60 days, which can be extended for 4 periods of 30 days. That's very confusing. It's like 19 easy payments of $9.99. They just don't want to say $200. It's kind of like that. So you can do the math on that. You can figure out what forbearance and federal-backed mortgages, if that applies to you. If not, we'll keep it moving. No fees, penalties, or additional interest as a result of delayed payments. That's what they're claiming on a lot of these websites. So if you can't make rent, I would look into this and talk to your landlord and try to figure out how you can not lose your house or lose your whatever it is, because it looks like they're trying to say no fees, no penalties, no additional interest as a result of delayed payments. And it says those with federal-backed mortgage loans who have tenants who fail to pay rent for a 120-day period, blah, 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 and you can't charge penalties on that. So basically, if you can't afford your rent right now, they're not supposed to charge penalties for up to 120 days, it looks like, and you should be able to keep your spot. How is that going to work with tenants and, landlords and people who own buildings? I'm not sure if that's going to be so generous to them. We'll figure it out, but I like that they're at least trying to do something. So now that we've covered what you might be getting and what you might not be getting, I want to add to that unemployment. Look into unemployment. I believe it's increased for a lot of states and a lot of people. If you've lost your job, look into it because you deserve that money. Now on to the stuff that probably should not have been in the bill. This one is very alarming, especially to libertarians and conservatives who think that their politicians are constantly holding it down for them. I do want to say before I'm a little negative too, they did take out a lot of the nonsense that the Democrats were trying to put in, passing their Green New Deal stuff. A lot of that stuff did come out. I believe I've heard to this point that the ballot harvesting has been taken out. You can look into that as well. But $350 million to the State Department for migration and refugee assistance. So according to the website I read, they're saying we're going to help migrants and refugees not get coronavirus with $350 million. To me, this is just disgraceful. I mean, American businesses are suffering. The federal government came in and crushed millions of people, lowered their salary, took their jobs, destroyed their business with no option to keep it open. They weren't even allowed to. And they're going to give $350 million to migrants and refugees so they don't spread coronavirus or so they could resettle in America. Who knows where this money's going? Who knows how much bulk of this is actually going to even get to the migrants and refugees, and how much is going to get to people sitting at a desk pretty much just sending our money off to other people. It's just ridiculous. I'm not a fan of this, and it looks like the Republicans didn't get this out of the bill, similar to how they never fully fund the wall, similar to how a lot of the stuff that conservatives say they stand up for when it comes to these big trillion-dollar bills, whether it's gun control, Planned Parenthood. Seems like a lot of times in these trillion-dollar spending bills, this one's different, but if you look at the one to December I did a video on, all this stuff that conservatives claim they're against somehow magically always make it in the bill. This is another one of those situations. The next thing I'm not really pumped about in the bill is $75 million for PBS and NPR, aka public broadcasting services like those two. The reason I disagree with this is simple. These are not unbiased news organizations. They're just not. I listen to NPR sometimes. A lot of my friends that are left-leaning, they say, normally check it out. These guys are really objective. And I listen to it. It's not objective. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm trying to be funny. But it's a lot of pseudo-intellectual hipster left-wingers who try to pretend like they're objective. But the slant between supporting Trump and being against Trump is almost 100-0. I mean, they just masqueraded as, oh my God, we're kind of in the middle. But really, most people here absolutely hate the president. They don't represent conservative and libertarian views accurately at all. So what you're having is your money, as businesses are suffering, going to two organizations that are absolutely biased. I have my own personal biases, absolutely, but I'm not funded by the government. And if I was funded by the government, I would make sure to be even less biased. And I'm probably less biased now than a lot of these organizations, and I'm not getting money from the government. So they shouldn't be taking our money, just like I don't think Planned Parenthood should be getting taxpayer dollars, because then they give it to a bunch of PACs and super PACs to lobby against the president. Why is my taxpayer dollars going to organizations who are basically, media weapons against our president and against a lot of beliefs that people believe in? Taxpayer dollars and stimulus packages should not be funding any organization or media that has a bias, whether it be left-leaning or right-leaning, but somehow they never get to the bottom of that, and they're getting funded in our stimulus package. This one is $400 million is going to the Federal Election Assistance Commission, the FEC, for election security grants. What does that mean? I have no idea. Are they really serious about fair elections? I personally don't think so. There's many ways that they can really make sure that these elections are fair. IDs in every state, paper-backed ballot, or a way to have a physical copy of what everybody's voting and get away from a lot of this digital stuff, or at least have a paper-backed copy of that and have, a lot of oversight. Is this going to go to unbiased people standing in every single voting booth, or every single voting area, to make sure that there's no malarkey, as our friend Joe Biden would say? I'm not sure that it is. What is this going to do? Who's this going to go for? Look it up and let's figure it out together, but I highly doubt it's going to go to make our elections more secure. This is a big one people were upset about. It went from, I believe, $35 million to $25 million to the JFK Center. And over the last 10 years in federal grants, the JFK Center has gotten about $68.3 million, and then they're getting $25 million more here. I get it, but some people are upset about that, so I included it. So that's some of the good, some of the bad, some of the how is this going to affect me? Do I get money? How can I get money? Hopefully this helped and is a building block and a starting block for you to look into it more and see if you can get money if you are hurting, or if you lost money at all, or you lost a business. Use what I said and go use it further to see who you can reach out to and how you can get it, how soon you can get it. And another negative that people are really upset about, I did a poll on my Twitter and almost 95% of people thought this was a bad deal. Is this a reverse Robin Hood? That's what a lot of people are calling it, I see. Is this, Robin Hood stole from the rich and gave to the poor in the old folklore? Is this the opposite? Is this stealing from the poor and giving to the rich? What did we just witness? Outside of the partisanship, outside of how much you love or hate President Trump, outside of how much you were affected personally and how much you weren't affected, we just witnessed the federal government, and I understand, trust me, I understand the science, you want to contain the virus, I get it. Outside of all of that, we just watched the federal government basically mandate, destroy millions of businesses, destroy millions of jobs. Many of them are never going to come back. Some of them are. Some jobs are going to come back. There's going to be a boom, but many small businesses are getting crushed, and they may not be involved in this loan system of $400+ billion. Maybe they will. We'll find out. But we watched the federal government completely destroy, with no option to opt out, a bunch of businesses, millions of businesses. And where did that money go? A lot of the guarantees are going to the big corporations, the airlines, the Boeings, the JFK Center will get the money. It's guaranteed. It's going right to them. But all this other, we get thrown scraps. It's like, destroy your business. Maybe you'll get $1,200. Maybe you'll get a loan. Maybe you won't. A lot of people are calling it a reverse Robin Hood. A lot of these CEOs, people have realized, stepped down over the last year. Even before this happened, they're like, why are all these CEOs stepping down? There's thousands of CEOs that are leaving their post in a boom. Usually they leave in a recession. Well, it looks like they left right before a recession, which leaves a lot of people using this term. Was this a hoodwink? Did we just get bamboozled? Was this a reverse Robin Hood where they destroyed small businesses and funneled the money back to themselves? There's even reports, I can't confirm this, but there's even reports of senators and House members giving themselves a bigger salary. How come I haven't seen them reach out to the small businesses in their district or their congregation to try to save it with their money? Maybe take half salary this year and give that other half salary to businesses that are going under, because your job's going to be protected by our tax money or our Federal Reserve loans next year, and you know that. So is it a reverse Robin Hood? And another thing people are talking about is hyperinflation, which a lot of people speculate. Now that there's trillions of dollars injected into the market, some people are saying, not all, but some, your dollar, your fiat currency, the money that you hold in your bank account, is being lowered in value. And over time, this much, loans and whatnot, creation of wealth or creation of money will lead to hyperinflation. Some say it won't. Some say we're a system of debt. They're just adding some zeros to a computer and doling out the money. It'll be fine. I'm not an economist, but let me know what you think. And also, I want to leave on a good note. I understand that they need to save the economy. Absolutely. The big businesses are a bulk of the economy, and this isn't what they're going to say. This isn't only, the wealth or the wealthy capitalizing on this. I think in a lot of ways we have been hoodwinked, absolutely. But a lot of people, millions of people have 401ks. Millions of people's retirements are reliant on the Dow Jones and the stock market being up. So I understand they do need to put some sort of bill together. It's not going to be perfect, and they have to get it up. It's not like it's going to help nobody. That's what a lot of people say. Oh, we just complete. No, there are millions of people who just saw tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars that they've been working hard for their whole life literally just devalue, and they do need to inject some money into the big companies and such to get that going up, so people's 401ks and stocks are going back up. I understand that completely. Let me know what you think. Hopefully this is a starting block and a building block to really get you on the path of figuring out, can you get money, can you apply for a loan, can you get aid, that type of stuff, and then look into it further, see the things I didn't talk about, see the things I did talk about, cross-reference them, and also look at the final situation when the president signs it and how it might have slightly changed, and then how they execute it and actually roll it out. Mnuchin is thinking a couple weeks. I'm not sure, but hopefully this helped. God bless you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. And feel free to communicate and add some more to this story that I didn't, because a lot of people have insight that I don't. Thank you guys again.